something that's really important in my life are animals, and I've always been very close to like dogs growing up, and they were kind of like my extended family and kind of my little group.
Now, before you go further, we want to insert something really fast, and that is emotion is the first indicator of what you're doing vibrationally, the first demonstration. Second is thoughts coming. Now, thoughts come before the emotion, but we want the emotion to be the first manifestation. Then a steady stream of thoughts will be your second indicator, and usually third on that list is nature will show up in your experience to accentuate the frequency of your being, and then other humans.
Okay. It's been very nice talking with you. I think I got the answer on that. So when my dad passed away, I helped take care of him the last 9 months of his life. And I was in a cemetery just biking down and feeling really close to him. And a friend of mine walked away. I said, let me just have a moment. I want to kind of have a moment here. So I was actually talking with him. And at that moment, there was something wet on my leg. And I looked down, and there's this little black poodle. And he's just sitting there licking my leg and looking up at me. And I'm petting him and say, hi, how are you? And, you know, it was a nice interaction. And then from across the graveyard, this woman says, Augie, come here, please. Come here, Augie, leave the man alone. And that was my father's name. It's not like Ozo or Bob or... And I'm like, oh my God. And so I walked over.
Our work here is done. In other words, with what precision can the universe deliver to you demonstrations of,
It gets better. So I walk over to this woman, and we had this interaction. I found out that her son had died on the same day as my father. He had committed suicide, and they got this dog for the young boys that were left behind and named him Augie after the month. So we have this moment and blah, blah, blah. 10 years later, which was last week, I'm in a coffee stand sitting there, and another little black poodle comes up and sits at my feet outside. And I'm like, oh my God, hello. And I'm petting him. I turned to my friend. I said, would this be weird if his name is Augie? And I took his tag and looked at it, and it was my father's nickname he grew up with. They didn't even call him Augie. It was Junior. And this little dog, same little black kind of poodle, is looking at me, and I'm just having this incredible moment. And so I guess my question around this is,
Really? You have a question?
So I guess the answer is they come through to let you know something.
Yeah, and your dad would like you to know he doesn't really hang out at the graveyard.
It's good.
Well, it's a wonderful thing when you have an experience. The only thing that's odd about it is that experiences like that surprise you, like, oh, isn't this amazing? What's amazing to us is that you are not having more of those experiences all day, every day, where you are noting the correlation between something that you've done vibrationally and the universe's very deft, very deliberate hand at assisting you. When someone that you care about has made their transition, it is usually through that pathway that you allow yourself to then understand the interconnectedness, the eternalness of that which we all are. We want you to feel the deliciousness of that, but we also would like to put it into this. We just want to say, yeah, and, because there are hundreds of those, or maybe thousands of those sort of potential demonstrations for you all day, every day. When they come in that emphatic way, it gets your attention, but watch for them all day long. You know how you finish one another's sentences? Do you understand what the power of the mastermind is? When you come together with someone and you focus in some way with the purposeful intention of finding high-minded thoughts and high-flying vibrations, just the synergy of two of you accomplish that, and imagine what it is in a gathering like this, when just the synergy of two of you accomplish that, you open a passageway that allows infinite intelligence to flow to you and through you. We can't even find words to demonstrate. We just want to say that things like that are happening all day that you don't even know are happening. There are all kinds of rendezvous on your behalf, insightful things that are coming to you. Humans, we love you so much, you know what's coming next, are so often determined to carve out your own worthiness through your own discovering of things on your own, that you often close yourself off to the available assistance, as if the assistance somehow would neutralize your worthiness because someone else helped you with the idea. Oh, that was good. Where what you're really wanting to do is find ways to achieve vibrational alignment with a frequency that allows you to be open to that. And oh, there is not anything that your dearly not ever departed like more than your conscious awareness of something that they are playfully in on like that. And we want to say to you, if things like that the crowd gasps, oh, that's just amazing, you have no idea what's going on your behalf. Get tuned into this, and you know, you won't really know until you have deliberately focused your thought and got enough momentum going deliberately that you now own the thought and what it means. Until you do that, you won't recognize the intertwining of the non-physical energies that are assisting you in so many ways. It's like until you ask a question, you don't have any relationship with the answer. But when you start deliberately flowing and deliberately thinking and deliberately conjuring and deliberately allowing and deliberately aligning, deliberately thinking, when you start scripting and writing and doing focus wheels about it, when you begin to make these thoughts your own, then when the rendezvous, when the convergence of other factors come into being. And we're not just talking about the convergence of your other physical friends. They're the hardest part. It's easy to converge with the non-physical likes of Augie. It's easy to converge with those pure positive energy beings when you're in a pure positive energy place. So think about the components. There you were, lovingly, it's been enough time that you weren't still suffering, lovingly contemplating the beingness and feeling appreciation of someone. But it's the setup that we love. In other words, that woman with that dog didn't just beam in from some other planet. There was a vibrational setup. There was a vortexual. It was spinning in the vortex. The cooperative components had already been assembled. Your impulse of when to go there, that's what was inspired. The feeling that you had to be there. And that was inspired from that broader perspective. Sometimes you think that deliberate creation is, I'll just stand here and I'll look out there and I'll find something that I want and I'll get some sort of device to go out there and get it and drag it over to me. And we say, well, you've done step 1 already. You've already done that. And Source has already done step 2. So your step 3, this is your step 3 moments. These are the moments to do step 3. These are the moments to get into that vibrational alignment, you see.